Hey everybody, it's my new video, and in this one I'm talking about my life with boxing. Now I love boxing. I've been a boxing fan since I was about 17. The first time I started getting into boxing was pretty much around the same time the Muhammad Ali story came out starring Will Smith. Now when that movie came out, I loved that. That was around the time I started becoming a fan of Will Smith. When Ali came out, I actually remember seeing it in the theaters like three or four times in a week. That's how much I loved Ali. Right after I seen Ali, that's when I started liking boxing. I watched Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis. In this fight, you know, Lennox Lewis beat Mike Tyson in the 8th round. I mean, when you look at Mike Tyson, that guy looks like he can fucking kick somebody's ass, you know? But Lennox Lewis, on the other hand, he's got not just the height and the strength advantage, but Lennox Lewis actually looks like a fighter. Like, even when he does his stance, you can pretty much know that this guy, nobody can beat this guy. That's how Lennox Lewis looks. And then after that fight, I started getting more into wrestling, but I would still watch boxing. I would watch the underdogs. I was a fan of the underdogs, not like the famous people like what's his name? Anyway, I wasn't going for the like Mayweather. You know how he's super rich, but he's a good boxer, but you know what I mean. But I would go for the underdogs, like the regular fights, not the ones on HBO and the Fight Network. I'd always watch the Fight Network growing up. I'd always with my friends, we used to bet on the winner. We wouldn't be like high price betters. We just bet like $2 or $3 on each winner. But around the time I was about 21 or 22, everybody knows the first floor. I've been in and out of the first floor all my life. But one time I went to the first floor, and I met this guy, this black guy, and he, I didn't know anything about this guy. I didn't know nothing. So as I was shown my room, I noticed this guy walking around, and I walked up to him and I was like, "Hey man, how you doing? What's going on?" Then he was like, "Oh, not much. What's your name?" And I shook his hand. I told him, "How you doing?" And then I got to know him better, and he told me that he was a boxer. He said on the outside he was a boxer. He was, I think, 20-0. He won 20 fights, but he said he's been retired, but he won 20 fights. Now, he told me the secret to boxing. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this secret, but he said this is a way a lot of boxers win fights. Well, he doesn't say how a lot of boxers win fights. He said this is how he won. He said he would work on the body. He would just work on the body, the chest and the stomach, and he would focus on the chest and the stomach, because he says if you focus on the chest and the stomach, it actually tires out your opponent, makes your opponent more weak, not weak but really tired out, because his breath, he's not getting the breathing right. You know what I mean? And then I got to meet his daughter and his wife. His daughter used to always tell me, "Oh, I used to watch my dad's fights all the time. I'd be front row center." But he wasn't like a professional. He was just like how I like watching boxing. He was just an underdog, an amateur. Well, I think he said he won the welterweight championship. I'm not sure, but then he would always talk to me and tell me, he would always talk to me and tell me, you look like I could. He started saying he can train me. That's what he was saying. He could train me. And I told him, you know, I told him, look, man, I'm a pussy. I can't fight for shit. You know, I get my ass kicked all the time. And this is what he told me. He told me right after that, he said, it's not about how strong you are. It's about how fast you are. Strength has nothing to do with boxing. All the boxing, the only thing important about boxing is not the strength, it's just how fast you are. If you're really fast, you can win matches. He said he almost lost his last match. That's what he said. He said he almost lost, but he said he wanted to retire on top, 20 fights, no losses. The guy must have been like 50 something years old. But just to meet an underdog who fought for so long, apparently he was fighting for 15, 20 years. And then one day he walked up to me and said, you know, when we get out of here, he offered me a job. He said, I'll take you into the gym. I'll train you, get you bigger than you are now. And I told him, look, buddy, I don't really want to be a boxer. I don't want to do that as a career. That's what I told him. I told him I don't want to do this as a career. And then he said, what do you want to do with your life? And I told him, I want to be a professional comedian. I want to make people laugh. Then he said, he grabbed my chest and he said, you're a really funny guy. And I don't really, well, to think about it, I don't really think you have a career in boxing, but you actually look like a good kid. And you are very funny. I think you should focus on comedy as a career. Then I told him, thanks, man, because that's what I want to do with my life. I want to be a professional comedian. That's what I told him. Then his daughter was right young. She was like 21, 22. And she was like, would you like to see my father fight? And right when she said that, I was like, holy shit. So this is real? This is real? He's real? And then she was like, yes, here, watch him. And she showed me her thing, whatever, tablet, whatever it is. And I saw him fighting. I could see him. This guy was fighting like I've seen no other boxer fight. This guy was the best friggin' boxer ever. I just wish I remembered his name. I can't remember his name. And then his daughter, you know, and you know, like always, I went up to his daughter and I told her, hey, you know, I'm single. And then she was like, you know, I'm married. Then I was like, oh shit, sorry about that, man. I said, wow, congratulations and stuff. And that's my life with that guy. With that boxer. Now, I'm going to end this video by talking about how boxing got me laid. Okay. I was at the bars, at this karaoke bar singing, and I walked up to this woman, and she was like, hey, how you doing? You're sexy. And I was like, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. And she was like, what do you do for a living? And I was thinking to myself that I have the look. Since I have the look, I just told her, well, I'm a professional boxer, you know what I mean? Then she was like, really? Do you have a six-pack? And I was like, yeah, I have a six-pack. And she was like, okay. And she was kind of drunk. No, not drunk. She was high, out of her mind. Like, I wouldn't hook up with a drunk chick, but she was high. So I told her, okay. I kept saying I'm a boxer and all this, and I won all my fights and stuff like that. And she took me back to her house, and pretty much know what happened then. 3 hours. That's all I could say. 3 hours. Anyway, that's my boxing video. This video is going out to that boxer who was one of my best friends ever. I wish I remember his name. But, you know, if you're watching this, buddy, I'm still watching boxing. I'm still a fan of boxing. I hope you're doing good with your life. I hope you're not dead. I hope you're still alive and you're still, you know, training people and stuff like that. I wish you the best of luck. Maybe I'll see you sometime in the future. Thank you very much. If you're out there, buddy, I'm still going strong. I'm now a comedian, just like we talked. Thank you, bud. And for all you in YouTube land, I'll see you in the future.